Good morning guys, I'm Naya and welcome back to the channel. For today's video we're gonna be doing another tiered list, and this time around I decided to rank into very cool tiers, which we will go over very soon, every single banned card on the ban list. So, a couple things to keep in mind. I have not played in every single format. I have started in 2017, so this is solely based on my opinion and how I view these cards. Second thing, a lot of you are not subscribed yet. Like I always say, make sure to sub, make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss on any of my content, because I would love for you to be part of the community. And the third thing, please let me know what you think of this list, what you think of my tiers, what you think of where I put any card, if I did anything that you're not exactly in agreement with, and what you think of the ban list, which cards you would maybe want to see unbanned or banned for that matter. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get in the tiers first. We have the legendary tier, the toxic tier, the broken tier, the very good tier, the maybe one day tier, and the release it tier. So, and we have 101 cards to cover, so let's go. First one is going to be God Dragon Augur Pain. So, I played it when Augur Pain was legal, so I can elaborate on that. Basically, I want to put Augur Pain in the very good category just because I know that we have a lot of cards on this list that are way better. And what Augur Pain did was awesome for that point in time. I mean, it was too busted. It did way too much and it had to go, and it went before LP, which is his counterpart, I guess. So yeah, very good tier. I think it's very fitting just because we have a lot of better cards. Obviously they're all banned, so they're all nice, but yeah, to start things off, I think Augur Pain should go in the very good tier. The next one is going to be Ancient Fairy Dragon, and I want to put Ancient Fairy Dragon in the broken tier just because it's way too good. I remember when it used to be legal, I played back then also, and I know, it's your Surge the Field spell, and you played in Spiral, and it was just, it was way too much. So when Ancient Fairy Dragon got banned, it just sort of made sense. It cannot come off the ban list, I think, and the broken tier seems like it's very fitting for it. Then we have Azathoth. I want to put Azathoth as the first card in the toxic tier. So Azathoth was just, it was one of those cards where sometimes I just wonder why there's not an emergency ban list, because when you would slap Niarla on the field and then put Azathoth over it, it's just like, at that point you denied your opponent from playing, and that's not okay. Like, every single thing that is going to go in the toxic tier is there simply because it's either an FTK, it's either a hand loop, it's either just restricting your opponent from actually playing the game, which is horrible. And Azathoth definitely is like the poster child of the toxic tier, I think. Then we have Zodiac Barrage. I want to put Barrage in the very good tier. It's not exactly one of the greatest cards on the ban list. It's incredibly busted for the particular archetype, obviously. And what actually I think got it banned was the fact that it was just way too much. It was at 1, so it was like a Saki card, and you had recursion you had an extender in the form of Barrage, just because, for example, when Giant came back and they were played in the same format sort of with Prank Kids, if you would wipe their field with Butler and they would have Barrage, it's a feels good moment for the Zodiac player, obviously. But yeah, it's just a Saki one-off and just gets you going when I guess you shouldn't be getting going if your field is wiped or anything like that. It's just yeah, I guess it was just deemed too broken. And I think the very good category is fine. Then we have Dragon Ruler. The first Dragon Ruler is what I wanted to say. We have a couple, obviously, because 3 are still banned. And I don't know a lot about Dragon Rulers, meaning I didn't play in the actual format, but I heard a lot. And when it comes to Dragon Rulers, I'm thinking of putting Blaster on the maybe one day tier, just because it's a fire. So in my opinion, it doesn't exactly sound that dangerous, or maybe as dangerous and wrong to be legal as something like Redox, because Redox being an earth just makes it better. And also it has an awesome discard effect, which Blaster I don't know, I guess it's not exactly on the same level, or maybe that's just me, but I want to put it in the maybe one day tier. So there's that. And obviously Tempest is released and it's not exactly doing anything, so there's also that. Then we have Block Dragon. So Block Dragon is it's broken. I want to put it in the broken tier, and I always tell this story. Like I played Adamantia, I bricked very hard, I top deck Block Dragon, and I OTK'd a person, and it's like, this is something that should not happen, like, ever. So Block Dragon being banned is the most reasonable thing that Konami has done in the last couple of years, probably. It's like, it's the advantage it gives you is too much for the game to be fair, honestly. And I think the broken tier is very fitting. Then we have Brilliant Fusion, also going in the broken tier. Like, Brilliant Fusion, maybe also above Ancient Fairy Dragon, if we're being honest. What Brilliant Fusion does is it just brings way too much advantage. And when this used to be played and you would, like, you know, send snow or something and like do these just stupid plays, you know, a couple cards, like, they're cool to play and I enjoyed playing them, and a lot of us probably did. But most of them on the ban list should just stay there, and it's just the way it is, basically. Then we have Broad Bull. I never played when Broad Bull was legal. It got banned, and obviously it never came back, and it's definitely in the broken tier. You know, what Broad Bull does is just, it only needs to be banned. Like, it cannot be legal and actually be abused, in my opinion. Then we have I guess the dagger, the butterfly dagger, and I don't exactly know when that was used. It's just, you know, reading it sounds way too good. It's like, it sounds busted. So I'll put it in a very good tier. However, I have not had experience with it. But some cards, you know, you just read and it's like, you understand why they are banned. So the very good tier is probably fitting for this particular card. Then we have VFD, and VFD immediately I want to put it in toxic. And it's so funny because VFD wasn't exactly very accessible. When I started playing, it was just, I guess, this thing you could do with True Kings in Dinos, stuff like that. But obviously with Virtual World, you know, when you have actual access to level 9s, obviously it became too much. And around that point in time, a lot of decks actually started abusing it. So it's not like only not VFV, Virtual World got it banned, but a lot of decks just abused the hell out of it, and it was like, it wasn't okay. And obviously it needs to rest on the ban list probably forever, and also needs to go in the toxic tier. Then we have Card of Safe Return. Now a couple of these obviously are going to go in the legendary tier. As for Card of Safe Return, so you draw when you reborn. It's like, I think that's legendary status worth it. Like, that's definitely legendary status worthy. Like, some cards are just too much. That's probably all that needs to be said. Then we have Change of Heart. Also, you know, definitely deserving of the legendary status. The next one is Chicken Game. And Chicken Game is like, I guess it's running wild on Master Duel or something. Or has it been touched? I'm not exactly, you know, that up to date with everything happening in Master Duel. But Chicken Game sounds like, it just sounds like a weird card. It's, I guess I'll put it in very good. Maybe I'm doing it injustice and it's actually way better. But I don't know, it just sounds stupid. Like, it's I don't know, it's a weird card. I don't think it's as good as some of the other ones, but like I said, maybe I'm doing it injustice. Then we have Cold Wave. So basically, you prevent your opponent from, I guess, playing spells and traps for a turn. Which is like, you know, right now, not every single deck is exactly as heavily reliant on spells and traps as maybe sometimes, or some, I guess, years ago, this used to be a thing. So I guess we can put it in broken, like at the top of broken. Because it is broken, but it's not exactly like toxic or legendary. So there's that. We have Colossus. Colossus is toxic. As much as I love the card, I honestly do, it's definitely toxic. And I'm not one of those people very, like, I guess, supportive of some cards that I like coming off the ban list. No, it just needs to stay there because your opponent cannot play the game if you have Colossus on board. And obviously, like, right now, I guess you can get rid of it quite easily, or easier than you could a couple years back. So I might just put it in the maybe one day category. But for some of these cards, and Colossus being one of them, a very important one actually, I just feel like even if it shouldn't be that bad, like you can get rid of it, you can droplet it, you can ruler it, you can imperm it, like whatever it may be. For some of these, I still feel like they should stay banned because they are way too busted when actually used and abused and not, you know, dealt with by the opponent. So then we have Confiscation. Yeah, I guess it needs to go in the legendary status. Like a couple of these, the actual effect, you know, some of these when they discard a card or shuffle it back to the deck or whatever it may be, it just sounds like I don't know, like a Levianeer or a Triple Tactics Talon. But the fact that, for example, you can look at the card, I think that's with Forceful Sentry if I'm not mistaken, and the fact that you can not loop it, you can do multiples because it's not a hard once per turn. I think that's what deems it to be like, you know, makes it to be like legendary. Yeah, it's like a couple of these cards are just way too good because they're not once per turn is what I want to say. Stumbling over the words, but that was the point I wanted to get to. And I guess since I mentioned it, the Forceful Sentry could go in the legendary tier as well, simply because of the facts that I just listed. Then we have Cyberjar, and together with Cyberjar, I want to address Fiberjar as well. And both of them I want to put in at the top of very good. And I realize they are very good, you know, like broken or whatever it is, whichever tier you want to put them in, but they're still flip monsters. And I just see flip monsters as being so slow that sometimes it's just not, you know, you cannot really say it's better than, you know, I guess where I put it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, the effect is nice, but when are you gonna resolve it? It's not like, I guess a really good player is probably never going to just blindly attack a sap monster anyway. They're gonna deal with it, and whether this may be a Nightmare Unicorn or whatever, you know, you're not just gonna attack, I'm assuming at least. So those two being flip monsters, yeah, just makes them a bit less dangerous. Then we have Dandelion, and we have a couple of these, you know, that make tokens, basically. And I want to put all of them, almost all of them, in the very good category, simply because, and I will not, you know, I'll just say this once, I don't want to repeat myself a lot of times, but they're enabled. They are basically enabled by something like Fiber, and abused by other cards. So them by themselves are they're just cool cards, but obviously they got banned because of how the game progressed. So a couple of these are going to go, I think, in the very good category simply because of that. So Dandelion definitely being one of them. Then we have Delinquent Duo, definitely in the legendary status. Like it's way too busted. Then we have Danglong. So a couple times I've heard Danglong should come back, it's not that bad. But in my opinion, it's still way too broken. And I will put it in the broken category. Maybe at the bottom, but still broken. Because it is too good. Especially right now, we have Synchro Summoning legit left and right. That's all there is, you know, the meta almost all there is Synchro Summoning. And a card like Danglong, it's not the right time for it to come back. Maybe one day, you know, I should maybe put it in the maybe one day tier. But as of right now, I still wish to put it in the broken tier just because it's not, doesn't seem like it would be too good of a choice to unban it anytime soon. Then we have Dimension Fusion. So I guess a couple of these are like, they're just very good. I think basically Dimension Fusion and Return from the Different Dimension, they're really nice. But Return, for example, is a trap card, so inherently it's a bit slower. So I guess actual Dimension Fusion should probably go in broken. Maybe like, I guess at the top of Broken, because I do plan on putting Soul Charge in Broken, spoiler. And this is basically Soul Charge. However, Return from the different dimensions should probably go in the very good, because it does seem a bit more restricting. So yeah, a couple of these, like I wanted to say, are just insanely busted. And the fact that Soul Charge was legal for as long as it was sometimes just baffles me also. So yeah, Dimension Fusion probably is good right here in the Broken category. Jin is definitely going in the toxic tier. I have not played at that point in time, but I've heard stories, and obviously I've read the card, and it's yeah, it just sounds like it's worthy of the toxic category, just because, like I said, when cards prevent you from doing anything, as playing, for example, they should be banned, because it's not exactly promoting a healthy gameplay. The next one we're gonna address is Drident, and Drident, I just want to put it in very good. At the top of very good, you know, let's not mistake it. It's an incredible card, and let's not mistake it for anything less than what it is. But yeah, basically, it was banned. It came back while I was playing, so it was still banned, then came back. We played Zulich, we played all of that, also Zodiac together with Brigade, and I guess, you know, it got banned again. It's, I guess, way too abusable when you look at it, and the actual effect is like, it doesn't sound too bad, it doesn't sound too horrible, but when you look at the actual tiny combos you can do, and obviously with Zeus being as, you know, big of a boss monster as it was at that point in time, I guess Drident just deserves to go back to the ban list, which is really sad, because it's a nice card, but you know, it's not exactly one of the most broken ones. But yeah, the very good category I think is fine. Then we have Eclipse Wyvern. It's on the Release It tier, and I'm assuming I'll put only one more card maybe to the Release It tier together with Eclipse Wyvern. And if you looked at my ban list predictions, I addressed that. I think it's fine if it comes back. I don't think it's going to be horrible. Yes, you can send it with Ravine, but if you're sending this and you're not sending Absterrouter, then you need to rely on having access to Tracer, and it's, yeah, I just, with LP gone, I don't see it being as abused as it was. So Electrumite, I'll put it in the maybe one day tier, maybe above the Dragon Ruler. So yeah, Electrumite, in my opinion, is still too busted. People like to say, yes, please bring Electrumite back, it's whatever, but it's really not. It's really an incredible card and a very strong card. However, if it comes back to one, maybe somewhere in the future, not exactly right now, I guess we'll just see. And if worst comes to worst, it can just get banned again. So yeah, there's that. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I'm a Pendulum fan, but that's just the way it is. Then we have LP. I'll put it next to Agarpain. It's obviously it was legal for longer than Agarpain was, so I guess that makes Agarpain better. I don't know, but LP was abused. LP was so hardcore abused, and it was legal for so many ban lists. It like legit became a meme of how LP just doesn't get banned when it's so busted, when it's as busted as it is. But yeah, comparing it to some other cards on the ban list, I think the very good category is fine. Then we have Vanity's Emptiness, and I actually want to put it in the maybe one day tier. It's like, it's one of those cards, similarly, I guess, to, what would be a good example? Maybe Max C is a bit too radical to compare them. I guess we'll just address it by itself. I don't see it as being such a big problem if it comes to one, and we see trends from the OCG, it just doesn't seem that bad. Maybe that's just me because I never played against it. But yeah, in theory, it seems fine. And since we addressed Max C, I guess we can, you know, put it in the maybe one day tier as well. That's why I wanted to compare these two, because they just seem like they're really, I guess, warping in terms of like they can shape the meta a lot. But Max C obviously sounds a bit too broken. But my viewpoint on Max C is it's either at it's either at 0 or at 3. It being at 1, being a Saki one-off like it was when I started playing, was just insane. It was stupid. And when it got banned, it was cool. It seemed healthy. But sometimes when combo decks just go way too hard, it just seems like, I don't know, maybe I guess we would need something to balance them out. I don't want to get too much backlash for that, and I really want to know your opinion. And I probably wouldn't want Max C back. I'm just saying that it might happen. So Then we have Eva. Eva just recently got banned. I'll put it in the very good tier. Similarly to something like Barrage, basically it did, and I'll compare it to one more card as well. I actually should have it somewhere down here. It did, you know, a lot for its particular strategy. And with Droidtron, with how much Eva was abused, of course it needed to get banned. And yeah, I guess Eva just took all of the backlash. And that's just the way it is, because it's a really, really busted card. And I wanted to compare it to Spyro Master Plan. And I actually would like to put Master Plan somewhere at the top of very good. I wouldn't say it's exactly broken, because a lot of things in the Spyro strategy are broken. And the fact that they had to, you know, take care of Quick Fix and also Master Plan and also the Field Spell is what goes to show that this deck was just too much. It was tier 0. It just kind of ruined the format, honestly, and I don't particularly like the deck. This has really nothing to do with Master Plan. But yeah, it just seems like it's not as broken as some of the cards on the ban list, but it did a lot for the Spyro strategy in particular, so it was deserving of the hit. Then we have Fishborg Blaster. So I will put this in Toxic simply because it's not a once per turn and can achieve just insane game states. And I did some research, but you know, of course, I'm not exactly familiar with the card, but from what I saw, I think the Toxic category is perfect for it. And I think it does way too much, it being not once per turn, and everything that it can, you know, in turn achieve. The next one we are going to discuss is Giant Shroonade. So Giant Shroonade definitely should go in the legendary category. It's an awesome card, honestly. And together with Heavy Storm, I guess we can address both of them. They're both deserving of the legendary tier, but I would put Heavy Storm, of course, higher than Giant Shroonade. The next one is going to be Glow-A-Bulb. I'll put it next to Dandelion. I addressed that a bit before. Some of these got preemptively hit because of fiber, and it makes a lot of sense. And I remember when I used to like get ready to do, I thought I was gonna be doing pendulum combos with Glow-A-Bulb and like Naturia Beast and things like that, and then just everything got hit and banned and nothing really came out of that. But yeah, Glow-A-Bulb, definitely one of these cards that's like, I guess it didn't do anything wrong and it could be just healthily used in a combo deck, I guess, but fiber just made it, you know, impossible. So it had to go, but it's in the very good tier. Then we have Nightmare Goblins, so we can put one more card in the broken tier. Nightmare Goblin, like when the Nightmares came out and we read Goblin, it was like, wow, you know, it was just wild. And then when you did the like Yuling thing with the Goblin in the middle together with Firewall, all of that was just like, remembering that is just insane to me. So Goblin, broken, most definitely. And also Nightmare Mermaid, since we have both of them over here. Mermaid should also go in the broken tier. Like the entire Orcust combo thing was just, it was too much. It became a meme. It just made a lot of people angry, and it was way too free. It got way too abused in legit every single deck. Like Pendulums did the Orcust combo. Like at that point, it was really much sort of a matter of time when the Nightmare Mermaid is going to get banned. So again, one of those cards just got banned because of, you know, a particular thing it did at that point in time, and really it needed to go. And then we have Gofu. I will put Gofu in the very good tier as well, next to Glow-A-Bulb and Dandelion, because it's just similar to both of them. And of course, like how Link combos used to look like with Gofu is not exactly how they do right now. And reading it, you know, it does seem you know, it might come back, but then again, it's still too busted with it making the tokens. So I've heard a couple arguments about, you know, how Gofu could come back, but I don't really agree with that. Graceful Charity, definitely legendary status. Right now we have it at the top. Now there is one card that we just might put above Graceful Charity, but right now I think this is perfect. That grass looks greener. I actually want to put in the maybe one day tier. And I've been thinking about that for a couple ban lists now. It's probably been about 2 years or something. And every time I'm like, well, grass just might come back. But then again, it's like, you know, is this strategy that's in the graveyard, and this strategy, and this card, and snow just came back. And a lot of cards are so graveyard reliant again, strategies, excuse me, are so graveyard reliant again that grass would be too busted again. So it just might not come back, but I would love to see it. Then we have Grinder Golem, and I want to put it in the toxic tier. It's like, yeah, it makes tokens like these ones here in the very good tier do, but what Grinder Golem does, it being not once per turn, and the way you would bounce it with Akashic, with a Security Dragon, and they go into Firewall Dragon and trigger one Firewall and the other Firewall, and just at that point it's just way too much, and of course it needed to be banned, and they took care of that, which is really good. Then we have Gumblar. Toxic tier for sure. I always like to tell this stupid story of how I did the Gumblar loop like at locals once, and I did it so many times that I got a blister on my hand after locals. And this just tells you that the combo was long, it was stupid, it was busted, it was too much, it was broken, it was toxic, it was, the opponent was just not deserving of this. And yeah, like, it needed to be banned. And I remember OCG had it for much longer, and yeah, I just don't see that, you know, it shouldn't come back ever. Then we have Harp Horror, and this is the card I mentioned when I said I would put something else on the release it tier. I think Harp can come back. I also addressed that in my predictions, so make sure to go watch that as well. I explain everything, and basically, you know, long story short, I think it shouldn't be that bad, just because Orcust sort of got power crept with all of the better strategies and cards that came out after them, after they were so busted. So yeah, Harp coming back, I don't think would change much. To 1, of course. To 1 first. Then we have Ib. I'll put it next to Danglong, I guess, since they do a similar thing. They're the same level, all of that. But I see Ib as being a bit better. And when it came out and, you know, we started doing those dragon combos, it was just... it was insane. And some of these cards are just, they make me think like, why is it printed anyway? If you know what I mean. Like, it's gonna get banned. Of course it's gonna get banned. It's way too much. So if it's legal and people abuse it, it's just annoying to play against, and it's, I guess the deck is way too busted, then it gets banned, and it's like, why was it even printed? And at that point, it just makes me sad of how, you know, they just want to, I guess, sell good cards. So... yeah, there's that. There's my little TED talk about broken cards. Jet Synchron, similarly to Glow Up Bulb and Dandelion, it really did nothing wrong, but when Outage Synchro like was a thing, when you would end up on Herald and Savage and all of that, it was a dope deck. It was a really cool deck, but of course Jet Synchron needed to get banned because they like to take care of these things instead of something like Fiber, but that's something else. That's another topic. Then we have Kaiser Colosseum, and I actually want to put it in the toxic tier. Like, over here, I think the way we have everything rearranged or arranged is fine, but yeah, Kaiser Colosseum should go here in the middle. It's just stupid. It's a stupid card. Like, when I read it, I didn't know what it did. Like, I admit, I didn't know what it did, and I read it, and I just sat there like, that's insane. Then we have Kirin. So yeah, Kirin should probably go in the broken tier, and it's a bounce effect. So similarly to something like Silkitos, and of course Silkitos from Altergeist is not banned, but the fact that I think it cannot be destroyed by card effects or something like that, that's what makes it so much better, and of course it needs to be banned. But yeah, it's at the bottom of the broken tier, I think. Shouldn't go any higher than that. Then we have Last Turn and also Last Will. So Last Turn, it's such a dumb card. I guess I'll put it in very good. Yeah, I guess I'll put it in very good, but like maybe next to Chicken Game, it's like one of these cards that's just, you know, it's just stupid. And Last Will also, we can put it at the top of very good because it is very good. It's way better than Last Turn, I think. Last Turn is just silly, but Last Will is like, especially now when you can link summon and like get it off the field, even easier. And of course, synchro summoning and all of that is a thing as well. And then get an additional resource is, you know, it means a lot. Then we have Lavalval Chain, and I was toying with the idea of putting it in the maybe one day, because it would be interesting to see what it you know, I guess brings to the table when it comes to the meta game. But yeah, I think we should just put it in the broken tier and not mention it again because it is way too busted and it's generic and it mills. So yeah, it's one of those cards that's like, oh, that's why it's on the ban list, obviously. So broken tier it is. Then we have Level Eater. I guess Level Eater I would want to put in Toxic together with Fishborg Blaster. Not a once per turn, free special summon by changing the levels, so even making it easier for yourself to, for example, synchro summon or do anything like that. So yeah, insane. And I think it got preemptively hit in the TCG also, so that's good on Konami for thinking of that. Then we have Linkross. I want to put Linkross in broken, I just need to decide where to put it. So it's not exactly Nightmare Goblin, but maybe between Nightmare Goblin and Mermaid, because Mermaid was very specific and Linkross was just, it's still so funny to me, and that's besides the point. But I guess this video is long anyway, so we can go on a tangent a bit. Linkross was so hyped up when it came to Altergeist Pukari, because the idea was to go into Hextia, make Linkross, get a search off of Hextia, you know, with Pukari and all of that. And then it got banned before Pukari even made it to the TCG, and this is still so funny to me. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. But besides that, Linkross was abused in a lot of decks. It was abused in Dragon Link. It was abused in Adamantia. It was, of course, abused in many more. So yeah, also, similarly to Ib, one of those cards that just makes me think, why is it even here? Like, why does it even exist? Then we have Amaxaber Invoker, and I'll put it in the broken tier, maybe next to Block Dragon, because similarly to Block Dragon, it achieved incredible amounts of advantage for a particular strategy. When you would go with level 3s into him, you know, get a Goki, get his Zolda, get the Goki Surge, get the rematch, get all of that, start doing the Gumbler stuff. It was a long combo, and the Fireball stuff, and all of it. And Amaxaber basically enabled that at the very, very beginning of the combo. And I remember I wrote this entire combo down. I wrote it down on a piece of paper because I figured I'm gonna learn it that way. And I kept that piece of paper like on my nightstand, and I would read through it. And then Amaxaber Invoker got banned like a week after. And I was like, well, I just learned this entire combo for nothing. But yeah, I guess I took it to one locals, like I said. Besides the point. All of that is besides the point. But yeah, Magical Scientist. I want to put it in the legendary tier. It's basically Instant Fusion, but like for a level 6, basically the same thing almost. And yeah, it's very, very, very good. Mass Driver, I will put straight into Toxic because it burns. And when it burns and it's not once per turn, it's the most horrible combination, I think. Then we have Masterpiece, and I'll put it in the maybe one day tier, I guess below Emptiness and Max C. But Masterpiece in itself still seems like it would be a bit too much if it comes back. But I just see it as like a boost to the Draco archetype that in itself, I guess, could be countered by the huge amounts of back row removal, and also the way that it got power crept with everything else becoming better. And also, the third point I want to make is you have a lot of ways to deal with Masterpiece, even though it can be immune. So usually you would make it immune to traps and monsters because it can be dealt most easily with those types of cards. But then I guess you have Droplet and you have Dark Ruler. And if you get it immune to those cards, then you have Impermanence. And you can, I guess, what else would there be? I mean, Impermanence is the best example, I guess. And if you get it immune to anything else, then you have the monsters to deal with it, obviously. So it's, I think it can be dealt with more easily, but still sounds a bit too much if it comes off the list. I would want to see it though, for every Draco player out there. Then we have Galaxy, like the Dark Matter Dragon, and it's going straight into broken. Somewhere at the top, actually, it mills dragons. And it banishes, and it attacks twice. It's like, why does it have 3 broken effects, you know? It has a dope artwork also. So, yeah, broken tier, for sure. Metamorphosis, I think we should put it in the legendary status tier. All of that. It was just such an important card for the particular point in time it was played in. And yeah, I guess it's just a very historic thing and is deserving of the legendary status. Then we have Mindmaster. I'm not exactly very familiar with it. From all I could find was the fact that it looped. and when it loops, it goes into toxic category. Yeah, I might do some more research, but from what I heard, what I read, yeah, it should go over here. Then we have Mirage of Nightmare. So, yeah, you draw during the opponent's turn. This just sounds broken. I'll put it at the top of broken, but it's not exactly the legendary status. And, yeah, it's insane. So you draw until you have 4. You discard as many as you drew or something. But if it's during your opponent's turn and you need to discard, I guess if you draw into hand traps, you hand trap them anyway, so you get value. I don't know, maybe I'm going in too deep thinking about it. It's a broken card looking at it anyway, but yeah, there's that. Then we have Norden. Norden got banned right before I started playing. So about a week before I started playing, Norden got banned. And from what I heard, I'll put it in the broken tier for sure. But yeah, luckily I didn't have to deal with it. But yeah, like I said, everything that I've heard just makes it so I think I should put it in the broken tier. Then we have Olion, also similarly to all of them that I've mentioned before, in the very good category. I think is perfect. Imperial Order I want to put in toxic. Definitely want to put it in toxic. It was legal for way too long, and when it got banned, all of us were happy. Let's scroll down a tiny bit. Then we have Painful Choice. This card is just so busted. This card is so busted. I didn't know what it did, like, I don't know, I guess a couple of months back, I think. Yeah, I wasn't exactly familiar with a lot of old cards. But when I read it, I was just mind blown. And I think it needs to go in legendary status. Then we have Plushfire and Monkey Board. And I want to put Plushfire in broken and Monkey Board in very good. Maybe over here. Just because Plushfire seems and sounds better, and it's not once per turn. So when it's not once per turn, it's too much. But I didn't play in that format, so I don't really have any experience with that. What I saw though just makes me think that I'm quite happy that I didn't play back then, or that I would be happy if I played back then because I would probably play the deck. So yeah. Then is the Amaryllis, I guess FTK thing. I don't remember what it did, but I'm pretty sure it got banned because OCG had this FTK, and I don't know if it was even legal for a long time in the TCG and abused. But yeah, I think it was a preemptive hit, which is always good. And I guess together with that, we can also address Samsara Lotus, which was also an FTK. And I'm not exactly familiar with all of them. I know one. I'll mention that one when we get to it. Then we have Pot of Greed. Obviously, the card we need to put at the top of this list. And yeah, that's it. Don't need to elaborate on Pot of Greed much longer. Premature Burial also I think should go in the legendary status. It's an awesome card. Then we have Protoss. Protoss is I actually want to put it in toxic. Maybe at the bottom though, because it's not as good and as toxic as some of the other cards, but what it did in the past format was just annoying. Like, it wasn't as much toxic as it was annoying, because you could choose almost any attribute, and because some decks were specifically just this attribute in particular, I remember it killed Phantom Knights. Like, it just annihilated Phantom Knights, for example, when they're all dark. And yeah, when something just makes it so your opponent cannot play, I think it needs to be banned. Then we have Redox, and I touched upon Dragon Rulers a bit. I guess I want to put it at the top of very good. And also Tidal, when we get to it, is over here. Let's just put it over here. Yeah, they're both amazing, but like I said, I've mentioned everything when it came to Blaster, actually, so I don't want to repeat it once more, but yeah, I think very good is fine. Then we have, so that's Return from the Different Dimensions. So this one, I guess, is just very good or bottom of broken, because it's a trap card and it's slow. So yeah, maybe I just don't have enough experience with it, but over here I think it's fine. Rango needs to go in the toxic tier, like, you know, just immediately. If you played in Rango format, yeah, it was a weird format. It was very annoying and horrible to play against. When it got banned, I think everybody was sort of relieved. Then we have Royal Oppression. Yeah, Royal Oppression. Legendary status, definitely. Self-destruct button, Basically, some cards like these, and I say that a lot in this video, I think, they're just kind of, I'll put it in very good, because some of them just seem a bit gimmicky to me. And it's similarly to, I guess we can place Victory Dragon also. It's good, but it's like, is it ever gonna come up? I don't know, some of these just seem stupid. So yeah, very good tier, I guess, but not higher than that. Shockmaster, however, definitely toxic, actually. Not just very good or broken, it's toxic. It locks you out, and it's just, it's really not needed, so it's good that it's banned. Fun fact, I didn't know it was banned like a couple years back. I don't know why I figured it wasn't, but I read it, and I remember saying to my husband, wow, this card is so broken, why don't we play it? Like, why don't we play it? And he was like, it's banned, you know, obviously. So yeah, I was a bit embarrassed at that point, but it's a busted card, what can I say? So yeah, Simorgh, I guess we can put Simorgh at the top of very good. Yeah, I think at the top of very good is fine, just because it got recently banned, so we all know what it was doing, and the fact that you cannot target, and the fact that it special summons every single turn, and the synergy it had with Mist Valley Epic Saven, and you could summon also any kind of, I guess, Lyrilusc to further extend your plays and make your deck even more busted, was just too much. And I think the right call was banning Simorgh, not taking care of any of the other things, because they also did limit Starling, so they sort of effectively took care of the entire strategy with that hit. Okay, then we have Sixth Sense. So maybe I'm doing it injustice, but I want to put it in the very good tier together with the other gimmicky cards. Like, I guess we should have a separate tier for those, or maybe I'm just not very nice to all of them. But yeah, they seem like, you know, they're good, but it's a trap card, and it's yeah, it just seems gimmicky. I think that's the way to describe it. As for Smoke Grenade, I think I want to put it in toxic because of the hand loop, because of everything Infernoble did with the help of Smoke Grenade, was just not okay. And when you can't play the game, it's very lame. And I like the fact that, like, looking at this toxic tier right now, Konami really did go out of their way to ban a lot of cards that were promoting unhealthy game states and gameplay, and I like that. I like that a lot. And yeah, Smoke Grenade, toxic, definitely. Then we have Snatch Steal, somewhere at the top of Legendary, I think is fine. Yeah, the next one is going to be Soul Charge, and I touched upon that before when I mentioned Dimension Fusion. At the top of Broken, I think, is where Soul Charge needs to go. It was legal for way too long, and yeah, it seemed insane. Like, when you would do your entire combo, or even not worry about your combo, or mess up your combo because you still had that Soul Charge in hand, and then you could just fix everything or make even a more broken board. Yeah, it was too much. The next one is going to be Spellbook of Judgment, and I will put it in broken, but I guess somewhere at the bottom half. And I hear sometimes people say, well, Spellbook of Judgment should come back, but it just really shouldn't, I think. Reading it just sounds like it's too broken. And I realize some people might want to have it back, but yeah, I just don't really agree. Starving Venom is the card I wanted to mention when I said that I know an FTK, and obviously I played the Pendulum Magician FTK. I'm sorry, but I did. It's banned now, so it's whatever, but it's definitely in the toxic tier. Okay, then we have the Blackwing, similarly to all of the other, I guess, unjustified to be on the list cards. Yeah, it got banned because of tokens, obviously. And it's in the very good tier. Then we have Substitute. I want to put Substitute at like the top of Broken because Substitute is so insanely good. It's like, I didn't know what it did. I read it and I watched like a YouTube video of like the combo of how it's looping itself with the frogs in the graveyard, and it was dumb. It was so dumb. Summon Sorcerers, I actually want to put it in the toxic tier. Somewhere at the top of toxic tier, because it is too much. My husband put it so well. He said it's such a poorly designed card. That's the way to describe Summon Sorcerers. It's a poorly designed card. And it's insane. And when I played it in Thunder Dragon, I remember I drew once, I drew a horrible hand. And because of Summon Sorcerers, I still ended on like 2 things, like 2 negates or a Colossus and something else. So yeah, one single card being able to do something like that is, I think, too much. Then we have Ptolemaeus, which is also toxic in my opinion. What does it like? Does it skip a turn or something? Yeah, like why, you know? Insane. Tempest Magician, also an FTK. I don't remember the actual FTK, but if it's an FTK, needs to go into toxic. And Tyrant Neptune, also an FTK. And it's so interesting to me that the Lyrilusc card, I cannot remember, the Assembled Nightingale is, I think, the correct name, but I may be wrong. The fusion, basically, it enabled 2 FTKs with Tyrant Neptune and also with the Starving Venom when it came to the Pendulum FTK. So that's a really interesting fact. Time Seal is broken. I guess let's just put it at the top of broken. You take their draw phase. You know, it's horrible. Trap Dust Shoot, I guess we can put it at the same status as these cards have, like Confiscation and Forceful Sentry. You take a monster but you choose, and it's like, yeah, it's good. It's just very, very good. Then we have Tomahawk. I'll put Tomahawk in broken. I remember when Tomahawk used to be made with Nessie, you know, with the dangers in the danger combo deck. So I guess it's not exactly, you know, it shouldn't go in the very good tier together with the other token stuff. It should go a bit higher because it did a lot, but I don't exactly remember all of the combos though. I just remember it was really good. So broken, yeah. Then we have Ultimate Offering. Ultimate Offering, I guess, should go in the legendary tier. I think I would be doing it injustice if I put it anywhere else. What else do we have? Okay, we have Union Carrier. We have Union Carrier. So Union Carrier needs to go into broken, but let's just decide where we want to place it. Maybe below Norden over here because it did so much. And also similarly to a lot of cards that I mentioned on this list, it did a lot. And it helped a lot of strategies, not just one. And I think that's what made it so broken. It did a lot for dragons. It did a lot for Drytron. It just, obviously, it helped a couple, you know, rogue strategies, and it was abused the way it should be abused. And they lost a lot. For example, ABC, stuff like that. It lost a lot when Carrier got banned. But yeah, obviously, other cards got banned. Then we have Zexal, toxic, so toxic. When it got banned, we were all so happy. And then we have the Wind-Up Carrier. So I want to put it in the toxic tier just because of the hand loop, but I heard a couple arguments about how it should come back because you can just, I guess, ban the other thing and it's only at once, so there's no hand loop. But I can't really elaborate on that just because I don't have any experience, but I remember OCG, I guess, put it back or something. Yeah, I have not really seen it over there. And then we have Yatta. I guess we can put Yatta at the top of broken together with not broken, toxic, together with Azathoth. Yeah, I think this is the perfect list, and Yatta just rounds everything off. So yeah, that was 101 cards. Hopefully, you know, you enjoyed, and hopefully I didn't say anything that, you know, I guess you thought was wrong or weird. But if you did, make sure to let me know. I don't have a lot of experience with, you know, all of these cards, but yeah, I think this tier list is quite well thought out. So let me know what you think. If you liked it, like the video, please comment, give me a sub, check out all of the social media, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.